What I'm about to reveal to you in this video may initially seem a bit cruel to do to women. However, once you understand the profound psychological mechanics at play, you'll realize that women unconsciously employ this exact strategy with you every single day. More importantly, this dynamic actually empowers them in their interactions with men, and paradoxically, it makes you respect and desire them even more. The fascinating part? You don't perceive them as cruel for using this technique, so why shouldn't you master it yourself? When you implement the psychological principle correctly, yes, it may create temporary discomfort for the woman. She might experience moments of uncertainty or self-doubt. But here's the transformative result. She will feel exponentially more respect and attraction toward you. In most cases, this strategic approach shifts the entire power dynamic in your favor, positioning you as the high-value man she desperately wants to win over. This isn't about being genuinely cruel or disrespectful. It's about understanding the deep-seated psychological patterns that govern attraction and leveraging them ethically to create genuine romantic connection. Women are naturally drawn to men who display certain qualities, and self-approval is perhaps the most powerful of these qualities. If you want to up your game with women and learn exactly how to make them sexually attracted to you, immediately go to my pinned comment and thank me later. Now picture this scenario in vivid detail. You're navigating through your daily routine, perhaps grabbing coffee at your favorite cafe, walking through the mall, or attending a social gathering, when suddenly time seems to slow down. There she is, standing across the room or walking toward you, and she embodies absolutely everything you've been searching for in a woman. She possesses that rare magnetic energy that's impossible to manufacture or fake. Maybe she's stunningly beautiful with features that seem sculpted by angels. Or perhaps she radiates a more subtle charm. That perfect combination of femininity, grace, and mysterious allure that stops you dead in your tracks. Her smile lights up the space around her. Her laugh carries a musical quality that makes your heart skip. And there's something in her eyes that suggests depth, intelligence, and passion. Your internal dialogue explodes like fireworks. Oh my God, she's absolutely perfect. She's exactly the type of woman I've been dreaming about. She's the kind of woman I want as my girlfriend. The woman I could see myself marrying. The woman I desperately want to connect with on every level, emotionally, intellectually, and physically. This moment of recognition feels electric, almost destined, like the universe has conspired to place this perfect woman directly in your path. Your pulse quickens, your palms might become slightly damp, and you feel that familiar surge of hope mixed with nervous energy that accompanies truly meaningful attraction. But here's where the story takes a devastating turn. Here's where 95% of men, even those who consider themselves knowledgeable about attraction and dating, make the catastrophic error that obliterates their chances before they even begin speaking to her. Despite having consumed countless YouTube videos about confidence, despite having read dating advice books, despite intellectually understanding concepts like don't be needy, maintain your value, and never chase women, when confronted with a woman who truly captivates them, men's programming completely overrides their knowledge. In this critical moment, the average man's entire mindset shifts dramatically. He unconsciously positions her as the ultimate authority on his worth, the judge, jury, and executioner of his romantic fate. His internal programming begins screaming a series of self-defeating messages. She holds all the power here. Look at how beautiful she is. She could have any man she wants. I need to somehow convince her that I'm worthy of her attention. I have to prove that I'm good enough. I need to get her to like me first before I can even think about attraction or romance. This mentality transforms him instantly from whatever confident, self-assured individual he might normally be into a validation-seeking supplicant, desperately hoping for crumbs of approval from this goddess-like figure he's placed on an impossibly high pedestal. He begins operating under a deeply destructive belief system that sounds something like this. She's so delicate, so feminine, so incredibly beautiful. I absolutely cannot risk making her uncomfortable in any way whatsoever. I must be perpetually nice, constantly accommodating, and eternally gentle. I need to treat her like she's made of the finest porcelain. If I'm good enough, if I'm handsome enough, charming enough, successful enough, funny enough, maybe, just maybe, she'll grant me the incredible privilege of her romantic interest. This man will carefully craft every word he speaks to her, filtering each sentence through the anxiety-inducing question, will this make her like me more? He'll censor his natural personality, suppress his authentic thoughts, and contort himself into whatever shape he believes will earn her favor. But here's the brutal truth that most men never discover, the reality that keeps them trapped in a cycle of rejection and frustration. When you approach women from this approval-seeking framework, you become completely invisible to them. You blend seamlessly into the sea of predictable, forgettable men who worship at the altar of her beauty, offering nothing unique, nothing intriguing, nothing that would make her want to choose you over the dozens of other men who approach her with identical energy. Now let me introduce you to a completely different breed of man, one who operates from a radically different psychological foundation. This man might initially appear arrogant, cocky, or even slightly cruel to those who don't understand the deeper psychology at work. But women understand it instinctively, and they find it absolutely magnetic. This man practices what I call self-approval. He doesn't seek validation from women because he's already validated himself internally. He doesn't filter his words through the crushing anxiety of, will she approve of this? Instead, he speaks authentically, confidently, and without apology. He expresses his genuine thoughts, shares his real opinions, and maintains his natural personality regardless of her reaction. This self-approving man understands a fundamental truth about human psychology. People are naturally drawn to those who seem complete within themselves, who don't appear to need external validation to feel worthy and valuable. From a woman's perspective, encountering a truly self-approving man is like discovering a rare gemstone in a field of ordinary rocks. Most women interact with dozens of approval-seeking men every single day. Men who carefully craft their words like politicians, censor their thoughts like they're walking through a minefield, and contort themselves into whatever shape they believe will earn her favor. These approval-seeking men all sound essentially the same. You're so beautiful. You're amazing. I hope you like me. Please give me a chance. I'll do anything to make you happy. They speak in the language of supplication, of begging, of hoping that if they're nice enough, accommodating enough, and compliant enough, she might throw them a bone of romantic interest. But when a self-approving man enters her world, everything changes dramatically. The entire dynamic shifts in ways that most people don't fully understand. When a self-approving man begins interacting with a woman, she immediately senses something fundamentally different about his energy. Her finely tuned feminine intuition, developed through years of interactions with approval-seeking men, recognizes that this man operates from a completely different framework. He's not desperately hoping she'll like him. He's not anxiously waiting for her validation, like a dog waiting for treats. He's not carefully monitoring her facial expressions for signs of approval or disapproval. He simply exists comfortably in his own frame of confidence and self-worth, completely independent of her opinion of him. This creates a fascinating and powerful psychological phenomenon that most men never witness. She begins to feel the exact discomfort that approval-seeking men typically experience around her. The tables turn completely. She becomes the one questioning herself, wondering if she's attractive enough, interesting enough, worthy enough to capture and maintain his interest. She starts thinking thoughts like, why isn't he trying to impress me like other men do? Does he not find me attractive? What does he think of me? How can I get him to like me more? The power dynamic that she's accustomed to controlling suddenly shifts, and she finds herself in the unfamiliar position of being the one who might need to work for approval. And here's the crucial insight that transforms everything. She doesn't resent this feeling. Instead, she finds it incredibly attractive because it's so rare and refreshing in her experience with men. It awakens something primal within her, something that's been dormant due to the constant parade of men who hand over their power immediately upon meeting her. This discomfort she feels isn't negative. It's the discomfort of being challenged, of meeting someone who won't automatically bow down to her beauty. It's the exhilarating uncertainty of not knowing where she stands with someone she's starting to find intriguing. A self-approving man communicates in a fundamentally different way that women find absolutely magnetic. When he speaks, he's not performing mental gymnastics, constantly wondering, is this the right thing to say? Will this impress her? Should I soften this comment to avoid any possible offense? Am I being too bold? Am I being too boring? Instead, he expresses himself naturally, authentically, and with quiet confidence. His words flow from his genuine thoughts and feelings rather than from a calculated strategy to win her approval. He might make observations about the world around them, share interesting stories from his life, or express opinions that reflect his actual personality rather than what he thinks she wants to hear. This doesn't mean he's rude, disrespectful, crude, or inappropriate. The self-approving man understands the crucial difference between being authentic and being an asshole. He treats women with respect and kindness, but he never compromises his authentic self or censors his natural personality to win their favor. For example, if he finds something genuinely funny, he'll laugh, even if he's not sure she'll find it amusing. If he has an opinion about a topic, he'll express it honestly rather than trying to guess what her opinion might be and then mirroring it back to her. If he wants to tease her playfully about something, he'll do so in a light-hearted way rather than walking on eggshells to avoid any possible discomfort. This authentic communication style creates several powerful effects that approval-seeking men never experience. First, it demonstrates that he has a strong sense of self. He knows who he is and isn't afraid to show it. Second, it proves that he's not dependent on her approval for his self-worth. Third, it creates intrigue and unpredictability, which are incredibly attractive qualities that keep her engaged and interested. Many men struggle with this concept because they've been conditioned their entire lives to believe that women are fragile beings who require constant reassurance, gentle handling, and kid glove treatment. They think, women are delicate flowers. I must be extremely careful not to make them uncomfortable in any way. I need to be the perfect gentleman at all times, never saying anything that might offend, never creating any tension or uncertainty. This mindset reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of female psychology that keeps millions of good men trapped in the friend zone indefinitely. When you operate from fear of her reaction, when you're constantly worried about saying the wrong thing or creating the slightest bit of discomfort, she senses that fear immediately through her highly developed feminine intuition. And here's a truth that might shock you. Attraction cannot exist in the presence of fear and self-doubt. Women are not attracted to men who are afraid of them, who handle them like they might break at any moment, who are so concerned with being liked that they never express their authentic selves. Think about this logically. If a woman wanted a relationship with someone who agreed with everything she said, never challenged her, never created any emotional tension or excitement, and constantly sought her approval, wouldn't she just date herself? What would be the point of having a romantic relationship with someone who brought no masculine energy, no different perspective, no confident leadership to the dynamic? Women want to feel feminine in the presence of masculine energy. They want to experience the delicious tension that comes from interacting with a man who is comfortable being a man, who doesn't apologize for his thoughts and opinions, who creates a sense of excitement and unpredictability in her life. Imagine this scenario playing out in real time. You've encountered your ideal woman and you're successfully maintaining your self-approving frame during the initial interaction. You're feeling confident, speaking authentically, expressing your genuine personality, and she seems engaged and interested in the conversation. The energy between you feels electric, and you're starting to think this might be going somewhere exciting. Then, without warning, she tests you. She might give you a look that clearly suggests disapproval when you make a perfectly reasonable comment. She might tease you about something you've said, calling it weird, unusual, or interesting, in a tone that implies judgment. She might make a subtle comment about your appearance, your choice of words, or your perspective on something. She might suddenly seem to lose interest, checking her phone or looking around the room as if she's bored. This is the ultimate moment of truth, the test that separates self-approving men from approval seekers. Everything you've learned about confidence and self-worth comes down to this crucial moment. Will you maintain your self-approval and continue being authentic, or will you immediately shift into desperate approval-seeking mode? The approval-seeking man's reaction is predictable and devastating to his attractiveness. He'll start choosing his words more carefully, showing visible tension in his body language, displaying that subtle panic in his eyes that screams, "Oh no, please don't reject me." He might immediately backtrack on whatever he said, apologizing profusely and trying to say something he thinks will win back her approval. His internal dialogue becomes frantic. What did I do wrong? How can I fix this? What does she want me to say? I need to make her like me again. The confident energy he was projecting moments before evaporates instantly, replaced by the desperate neediness that women find so unattractive. If you falter here, if you allow her test to shake your confidence and send you into approval-seeking mode, she recognizes immediately that your confidence was merely performance rather than authentic self-assurance. The power dynamic shifts back to her completely, and your attractiveness plummets to zero. But if you're truly self-approving, if your confidence comes from within rather than from her validation, you'll respond completely differently. You might smile at her test, recognizing it for what it is. You might continue the conversation naturally without missing a beat. You might even playfully challenge her back, maintaining the dynamic tension that she's trying to create. Here's a crucial insight that most men never understand. When women test you this way, they're not being cruel or trying to hurt you. They're actually hoping you'll pass the test with flying colors. They want to discover that you're genuinely self-approving, that your confidence is real rather than just a facade you put on to try to impress them. Think about your own reactions when women display this self-approving behavior toward you. When a woman seems confident, self-assured, and not desperately seeking your approval, do you consider her cruel? Or do you find her intriguing, mysterious, selective, and absolutely worth pursuing? Most men find genuine confidence incredibly attractive in women, even when it creates slight discomfort or uncertainty. Women experience the exact same attraction to self-approving men, but there's a crucial difference. They won't explicitly tell you this. They won't give you a manual that says, "Here's how to be attractive to us." Stop seeking our approval and start approving of yourself. If women revealed this secret openly, if they announced to the world that they're attracted to men who don't desperately need their validation, many men would misunderstand the message completely. They might become genuinely arrogant, disrespectful, or cruel, thinking that being a jerk is the same thing as being self-approving. So women keep this secret hidden, but they express it through their behavior. They test men to see who will maintain their confidence under pressure and who will crumble at the first sign of potential disapproval. They reward the men who pass these tests with increased attraction and respect, while losing interest in those who fail. Understanding this concept intellectually and implementing it practically in real-world situations are entirely different challenges. You might be watching this right now, nodding along enthusiastically and thinking, "This makes perfect sense. I totally understand what he's talking about." This explains so much about my past interactions with women. But the real question, the question that will determine whether this knowledge actually transforms your dating life, is this. When you encounter that woman who embodies everything you desire, will you actually be able to maintain your self-approval? Or will you default to the old familiar pattern of seeking her validation because she seems so perfect, so valuable, so absolutely worth impressing? Let me paint a specific picture to help you understand the magnitude of this challenge. You're at a social gathering and you spot her across the room. She's not just attractive, she's your exact type, the woman you've been fantasizing about meeting your entire adult life. She's talking to a group of people, and everyone seems captivated by her presence. Other men are clearly interested in her, competing for her attention, trying to make her laugh. In this moment, will you be able to approach her with genuine self-approval? Will you be able to join the conversation naturally, express your authentic personality, and maintain your confidence regardless of how she responds? Or will you convince yourself that she's too beautiful, too special, too perfect to handle your real personality? Will you tell yourself, she's different from other women? She's so stunning that I need to be extra careful not to offend her. I need to be on my absolute best behavior. I can't risk making her uncomfortable by being too bold or too authentic. I need to prove to her that I'm worthy of her time and attention. If you're honest with yourself, you might recognize that you would likely default into approval-seeking behavior in this scenario. You might carefully craft your words, censor your natural thoughts, and present a polished but inauthentic version of yourself in hopes of winning her favor. This is the gap between understanding and implementation, between knowledge and transformation. And this gap is what keeps most men trapped in patterns of rejection and frustration, even when they intellectually understand what attracts women. If you recognize that you tend to default into approval-seeking behavior around attractive women, especially women who represent your ideal type, you have a choice to make. You can continue operating from this framework and experiencing the same disappointing results you've always gotten. Or you can develop genuine, unshakable self-approval that doesn't waver under pressure. This transformation isn't about becoming arrogant, rude, or disrespectful toward women. It's about developing such a strong sense of your own worth that you don't need external validation to feel complete. It's about becoming so comfortable in your own skin that you can express your authentic personality regardless of how others might react. The men who have successfully made this transformation report remarkable changes in how women respond to them. They describe women blushing in their presence, being drawn to them in ways they've never experienced before. They talk about beautiful women in social venues gravitating toward them naturally, creating multiple romantic opportunities in single evenings. One man described how, after mastering this mindset, he walked into a venue and had the most beautiful women there feel genuinely attracted to him, being drawn to his energy like magnets. He ended up with 2 different romantic opportunities that same night, something that would have been impossible when he was operating from an approval-seeking framework. Another man reported that after implementing this psychology, he began noticing women blushing and reacting to him in ways he'd never seen before. They seemed genuinely flustered by his presence, uncertain of themselves in a way that made them even more attracted to him. These aren't isolated incidents or lucky coincidences. They're the predictable result of understanding and implementing the psychology of attraction at its deepest level. Understanding attraction psychology requires recognizing that women respond emotionally to specific masculine traits, and these responses are largely unconscious and automatic. Confidence will always triumph over insecurity. Assertiveness will always be more attractive than passivity. The ability to create appropriate sexual tension through playful flirting will always be infinitely more effective than remaining in the safe but sterile zone of friendly, neutral interaction. When you display these attractive traits consistently, you become magnetic to women. This isn't manipulation or trickery. It's simply understanding and embodying the qualities that naturally trigger female attraction at a biological and psychological level. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. Women are naturally drawn to men who display confidence because confidence suggests competence, leadership ability, and the capacity to protect and provide. They're attracted to assertiveness because it indicates a man who can take charge when necessary and won't be easily intimidated or manipulated by others. These attraction triggers exist for good reasons, and they're not going to disappear just because we live in a modern world. Women still respond to the same fundamental qualities that have attracted them to men for thousands of years. The next time you encounter a woman who captures your interest completely, whether she's a perfect 10, who stops traffic, or simply someone who embodies your personal ideal, remember this fundamental principle. Approve of yourself first and foremost. Don't seek her approval through your words, your actions, or your energy. When you speak to her, don't carefully filter every word through the anxiety-inducing question, "Will this make her like me?" Instead, express yourself authentically and confidently. Share your genuine thoughts, your real opinions, your natural personality. Be the same person you are when you're comfortable and confident in other areas of your life. Yes, she might seem slightly uncomfortable initially. She might appear uncertain or slightly off balance. She might even test you to see how you'll react under pressure. But remember, this is not cruelty. It's attraction psychology in action. You're not treating her poorly or disrespecting her in any way. You're simply refusing to diminish yourself, censor your personality, or compromise your authentic self in hopes of winning her favor. You're treating her like an equal human being, rather than putting her on a pedestal and worshiping her from below. Here's the truth that will revolutionize your relationships with women. They don't want men who seek their approval, even though they'll never explicitly tell you this. They want men who approve of themselves, men who are comfortable in their own skin, confident in their worth, and unshaken by female testing, rejection, or temporary discomfort. When you embody this self-approving energy consistently, women feel dramatically more respect and attraction toward you. They sense your unshakable confidence and find it absolutely magnetic. They're intrigued by your ability to remain authentic and self-assured, regardless of their response. Now, if you want to up your game with women and learn exactly how to make them sexually attracted to you, these powerful techniques teach you exactly how to. Stop losing women that initially liked you because you couldn't play the game. Enter the dating scene with confidence at any age. Pass each and every one of women's secret tests they throw at you during interactions. You know what I'm talking about. Those moments when she says something slightly provocative or challenging to see how you'll react. Will you crumble under the pressure and start doubting yourself? Will you become defensive, insecure, or needy? Will you start feeling like she's losing interest or that you're not good enough for her? Or will you maintain your composure and respond with the kind of emotional intelligence that makes her think, wow, this guy is different from all the other guys I meet? When you're able to use these clever techniques effectively, something amazing happens. The woman immediately recognizes that you are more emotionally intelligent and socially confident than she is, and that realization attracts her to you on a deep, magnetic level. She feels genuinely impressed that she can't manipulate you, can't shake your confidence, can't make you insecure, and can't walk all over you like she can with most other men. You're able to maintain your masculine composure and emotional stability even when she's putting pressure on you to see how you'll respond. Here's the bottom line. A simple comment, challenge, or test from a woman should never be enough to make you crumble as a confident man. If it does, you're revealing that your confidence is fake, superficial, or dependent on her validation. And women can spot that kind of weakness immediately. If you want to learn more about how to pass these tests so you can gain the attraction of women, project personal power, and avoid the let's just be friends speech for good, check out my pinned comment after watching this video. And if this video just opened your eyes to why you've been struggling with women, do me one favor right now. Smash that like button. Seriously, that one click tells YouTube to show this life-changing information to other guys who desperately need to see it. And here's the thing, I'm dropping game-changing content like this daily. Content that most dating coaches charge hundreds of dollars for, but you're getting it free right here. So hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because missing even one of these videos could mean missing the breakthrough that changes your entire dating life. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was your biggest takeaway from this video? I read every single comment, and your insights help me create even better content for you. Your future self, the one who's confident with women, the one who never gets rejected, the one who always knows what to say. He's thanking you right now for taking action.